So did you know that Belarus used to be the least visited country in Europe, but that has been changing dramatically over the last 2 or 3 years since the country started its visa-free policy from Minsk airport. That's why so many of my clients have also been coming here to Minsk. Let's get into today's Tip Thursday with me, Conor Klein. Поехали! So let me explain how the visa-free operates from Minsk airport. So it's valid for 30 days if you fly in and out of Minsk airport. Now, that's the way the law has been since they introduced this visa-free via Minsk National Airport. It's actually international airport, don't be put off by that. But a big development is that they are going to expand this to all regional airports in Belarus. So it will not just be Minsk airport. Of course, that means you can't cross the land border. Don't show up at the border in your car or by train because that visa-free does not apply. Interestingly, right now, there are actually no flights, from what I can see from anywhere that you're going to be traveling from, to a regional airport in Belarus. So I guess they're going to change that. They're actually going to expand the number of cities that you can fly in and out from further west in Europe. There are flights from Russia, but the visa-free does not apply currently if you actually take a flight from Russia. I'm not really sure I understand the logic with that, but I'm sure there is somewhere. So you can fly in and out of Minsk airport everywhere in the world except Russia, and you would actually, and by the way, if you are going to take a flight via an airport in Russia to Minsk, this will be a huge problem because it's happened to friends of mine that they are in an airport, say in Moscow, and they've arrived in the international arrivals expecting to transfer. And unfortunately, what happens is that when they try to get on their flight, it's actually a domestic departure gate, which means they need to enter Russia, and they don't have a Russian visa normally. And then they basically have to book a flight back out of the airport to somewhere else in the world. Just as a side note, the Belarusian authorities currently do not control their side of the border if you arrive on a flight from Russia. We did it earlier this summer when we were in St. Petersburg, but we had a special dispensation because we had tickets for the European Games. You can go check out my video how we hacked the Russian visa system, actually went to Russia without visas. That's another story for you to check out. So yeah, just be aware of that. Don't get caught out. One of my friends did. Now, when you're here for the 30 days and you're not staying in a hotel, which will register you with the authorities, then you have to be aware that you need to register yourself. And so for example, like me, I am normally staying in an Airbnb apartment. Luckily, they've improved that at the beginning of the year, and you can actually do that for free online. So you register for the stay of your trip here in Belarus. If you change accommodation, then you need to register again within 5 working days. So you have 5 working days in order to do this free online registration. You only get to do it once on a stay. So that means the second time you will have to go to an immigration center. That is very complicated. You need to go pay the right immigration center in the bank beforehand. You need to make sure you have all your insurance in order. You do have an insurance requirement. You can buy it at the airport if you don't have an insurance policy that covers Belarus sufficiently. Just be aware that currently on the online registration that you will have to put in an insurance number in order to do that. So you will actually basically have to buy insurance at the airport when you arrive. It's very simple and it costs about €1 a day, but you will have to do that in order to have the number to type into the online registration when you want to do that. So there you see, that is a requirement. Just be aware of it. You are going to be fined if you don't do that, and you will probably be asked for the registration when you leave a Minsk airport or the other airport in that case. So that's an overview of the current 30-day visa-free regime that is in and out of Minsk airport for practical purposes, but soon to be applied to all airports in Belarus that don't have flights in and out of Russia. Everywhere else in the world, but just not Russia. So there's been a recent change to the other option to come and visit Belarus visa-free, and that is to go to the cities in the west. Now, I said for the Minsk airport you have to fly in and out. There is a way to cross the land border, and that is to visit the cities of Brest and Grodno. Now, they've just been consolidated into one big region. Before, you could only stay in that one city and territory, and if you went outside it, you had the potential to get in a lot of trouble, like getting banned. You want to check out my video up above, you can go and check that. Also link it below, of course, about my experience with that happening when I went to Grodno a few years ago. But now it's been put together into one region, and you can stay for up to 15 days visa-free. Now, you do have to apply beforehand to actually get your visa-free documents. It's not as simple as when you fly into Minsk airport. You are going to have to do that online. There are some services that will do that for you relatively quickly, just to make sure that you have those documents before you go, and you can cross the land border at certain points, either on foot or by car or by train. So that makes it a lot easier, but you cannot leave this consolidated western region and go, say, to Minsk or to Gomel or to another Vitebsk or another city like that in Belarus. That is not allowed, so just be careful about that and don't forget. And of course, you have to register within 5 working days for immigration as well. You can do that online. It's the same protocol as if you were to fly in and out of Minsk. So you are at the end of another video, and I have one question for you: is what are you doing next weekend? Because it could be you. Now, the Czar experience and living the Czar experience is not for everybody. What I'm really looking for are people who are committed to self-development and have very high standards and want to push themselves, because you are going to obviously learn on the trips that you come with me, and I want people who are actually willing to put in the time, invest the time and the money into improving themselves and having that really top level experience. Kind of people who should not be are people who think that investing in yourself is kind of something that you shouldn't be doing. Obviously, those people don't need to contact me. You know, I actually invest myself in a lot of self-development. I pay coaches myself for business, things that I want to take shortcuts and learn the skills within a very short space of time. I don't want to have to commit years to figure all this out myself. Dumbest idea ever is actually trying to start a business and figure everything out yourself. I learned that the hard way in the beginning when I started this. I started here on YouTube, for example. So if you are looking to take the shortcuts and, develop yourself with my coaching, then you're going to be a good fit. If you're not that kind of person, you don't want to invest, then obviously this is not worth you applying to live the Czar experience. As I said in a lot of the other videos the last few months, if you're someone who has not particularly high standards in women, you just want to have sex with a lot of girls and you don't really care what they're like in terms of quality, then also it's not worth your while writing to me, because I'm really not going to want to help you, and I don't think I'm going to be able to give you the value that you are going to be looking for when you come here. And you probably don't really need that much help if you don't have higher standards. So best of luck in your trip if you're one of those people, but you're not really going to be suitable for the Czar experience. Likewise, if you are like in your 50s, 60s, and you're not very charismatic, you haven't had much success with women, you're maybe out of shape, and you believe that there are 20-year-old Instagram models waiting for you in the tarmac, and here in Eastern Europe to be whisked away to the West to be saved like a white knight, then I hate to break it to you, but that's delusional. That is not the case when you come to Eastern Europe. Girls have lots of options, and they are looking for high quality men. So be more realistic. You can, of course, use I would say a genuine. There aren't so many genuine margins. I'm going to link them below, the ones that I've done a few collaborations with that I know are trustworthy, because in that industry there's just a lot of dodgy marriage agencies. Like, they actually write to me, I'd say at least once a week, asking for a collaboration, and I reject them straight out of hand because I ask them how they make money, and they make money, a lot of them, just through communication. Big red flag. So if you do want to live into that fantasy, because that's what it is, then go and contact them. But be warned that it's not going to be the real deal. It's not going to be what it's really like. So now, if you are kind of person who I describe as being suitable for the Czar experience, so you are motivated, you want to develop yourself, you want to take the shortcuts, the kind of cheat sheet to coming here, and you will invest the time in money and having an absolutely phenomenal experience, meeting beautiful women, partying like a rock star, and getting to see just lots of cool stuff in Eastern Europe, then you need to do one thing. You need to go down and click the application form, click the link to the application form in the description to this video, and apply there. Fill out the information, fill out the questions. That's going to give me a good overview whether you're going to be a good fit for us to work together. And if that's the case, then we're going to jump on a brief strategy call to discuss it further. And if it all works out, it could be you here with me in Eastern Europe in a city like Minsk or Kiev or Odessa maybe in the summer, or St. Petersburg also in the summer. It's going to be phenomenal, the White Nights. So if you're still listening to this video, you're probably that kind of person, so go ahead and apply. And it is do svidaniya from this video. See you in the very next one.
SAR Experience.